All right, we're starting the stream a little bit later than usual. I'm joined by one of my favorite characters,
Hello.
the start of the third trilogy of World Without Hero streams. So we're gonna have a World Without Hero stream for every mainline Star Wars movie by the end of this. Part of me wants to apologize for being later than usual because I try to generally start at like 11 or 12. Then the other part remembers that people barely show up anyway, so it don't matter. Um, I did have a romance video planned for this week, but writer's block and just not wanting to sit there and edit a whole bunch of stuff for a few people to watch caused it to get delayed further. I don't feel too bad because, well, a big problem I have with being, I guess, a smaller content creator is that the website is, what's the way of saying it? It expects you to do a lot of extraneous work for the sake of something it can't guarantee. Um, and if I'm going to do that amount of work, I want to have some guarantees towards it. And I wanted to also mention this. Um, I did a stream called Free Advertising, and it was talking about this phenomenon where people will come to someone else's channel to talk about another person in a, I guess, positive light. And it's really weird to me if they're talking about a person who deals with the same discussion. So um, I gave the example of how it would be very weird to go on a live stream of Jim Cornette talking about wrestling and start talking about Stone Cold's podcast. You'd say, why is this bigger person being mentioned on this presumably smaller person's channel? While also, it's like if that other person that you're talking about is so much better or so good, then go watch them instead. There's been a romance commentator who's blown up recently in terms of views. He's got about 900,000 subs. And I watched a video by a woman, and it was called The Curious Case, and then his name was after it. And I have to say, I was really surprised by the quality of the video. She did something that I wish more people would do, which is that when she would make points against him or say that he was contradicting himself, she would actually show clips of where he'll say one thing or say something else or just outright say something that is designed to be unfair. Um, so, for example, I very much detest the idea that women seem to be given kind of a pass for a lot of stuff. Like, the men are expected to always approach, the men are expected to always be wealthy, and just a lot of stuff that chicks themselves are never called upon to do to get a partner. And she pointed out that he apparently at points will say that it's all right for a high value man to to like have a, what do you call it, a cavalcade of women they're talking to, even if they're in a relationship with one, because it's the woman's job to still appeal to that man or something like that. And I don't support cheating, period, like regardless of gender. So it kind of like, one of the biggest problems I have with people is they seem to like give chicks credit and the benefit of the doubt in almost every instance where it's almost impossible to criticize them. And with him, he seems like a reverse gender version of that, where it's like irrational defenses and just like explanations for behavior I don't justify. By the way, that high value man thing, me and my friend yesterday were talking about it, and we were talking about how a lot of times men on the computer will insult the appearance of a man that they want to justify having happened all this bad stuff to when it comes to broads. And I was telling him that you could have $1 million, you could have every dollar in this world, and you'll still have somebody that comes and says this woman you're trying to get with is too good for you simply on the basis of how she looks. Basically, no amount of money you can own is ever going to make it to where people, don't try to assert that you're not good enough or something like that. That's something else that's not really addressed by these commentators. I don't know. I don't get, like, I was trying to watch some of the clips And I still don't understand what's the way of saying it. Um, I always try to base my stuff around unrequited romantic attraction because for me, it's always been just you get rejected over and over and over and over again. Um, and when I see someone like him talking about, oh, 2 marriages and stuff, it's like, well, we're not even talking about trying to have some long-term partner. You just want to get a date, and they've made it so difficult. So I still don't really understand how my stuff overlaps with his. That's why I said I do these because I don't see anyone else discussing it in this manner. I don't know why some men think money will automatically get you a woman. And it's even more insane, Brandon, when you consider that it's like if you need money to get with a woman, why do these people in low income and impoverished communities have children? No one's like I'm telling you, every time there's some trait that people say makes it to where you can just get abroad, you can always find someone who doesn't have that trait and they still end up with someone. Like how are chicks supposed to know you have money? I told you if you actually listen to the other commentators on here, they say some of the most sexist stuff about broads. And it's like they're the ones who are trying to defend them and like justify their ridiculousness, and they make them sound like complete trash. Like I've never come on here and said you can only get a woman to like you if you have coins because I've seen men who don't own much or don't have anything and they still have a girlfriend or a wife. So, I know that that's not true or that's not a universal thing that everybody has before getting with one. And the funniest part about that stuff, you can actually infer that generally speaking, chicks are poorer than men. And what I mean by that is every time I've seen a romantic relationship, and again, I just go off of my own experiences, it's always the man paying for the woman's stuff. Like if there's some kind of transaction type thing going on, it's the man paying for the broad. It's never the broad paying for the man. That's why it's always funny when people sit here and talk about all this money you need to own to get with a broad. Like why? So she can rob me blind. I can be so hypnotized by my attraction to her physically that she's able to just completely make off like a bandit. It's just another one of those things people can't really explain. They just say stuff, and you it's goofy. Dude, if you listen to some of these people online, and that's why I said I really wish I kept all those comments. Like I have a lot of them in my email from like 2 years ago and stuff. But people on here really make chicks sound like nuns and sorcerers, and it's like I'm looking at some guy's comment where he's like, "If you wore better clothes, you'd be able to get with them." I was like, "Well, if I'm on Reddit, a site where most chicks I spoke to didn't even see what I looked like, and you're getting rejected, how would these chicks who rejected you know what you're wearing if they don't even see a picture of you? Are they able to scan through the computer and get your image?" And again, it's not hard to break this stuff down because people are not using any semblance of logic. It's just like ridiculous thing after ridiculous thing where they take one part of you that they themselves might not like, and overanalyze it to such a capacity that it's used to excuse the same repetitive behavior done over and over. When I did the video on the one that asked me to date and backflipped, I left out some details, and I left out the fact that she was I don't how do you explain it? Because it's not someone who's trying to like become like female to male. It's one of those people where it's a woman who tries to distance herself from all things feminine to where she actively said she did not like having breast, and she had like cut most of her hair off or some had some like really short hair. And I was just thinking to myself, here I am accepting a date from a woman who is, I guess, trying to push on some kind of masculine appearance. And I know damn well that I'll still have some clown or some computer simpleton who will say, your standards are too high. Like, you get how screwed up it is. Like, you have to accept the bras, no matter what they look like, no matter what kind of crazy stuff they do. But they get to judge you all over, and you have to be scrutinized and critiqued and all this other nasty stuff. It just seems like an excessively toxic environment for men. Like, how is that fair? Accept everybody for how they are and who they are. But oh, you want to be accepted now. James is saying, hey, don't worry, we're still gonna mock that broad that was in your comment section. We haven't forgotten about her. She'll get her day of lampooning. Hey, that's, I think, of all the comments I've seen this year, that's in like the top 3 worst. It didn't make any sense. Funny thing is, those masculine chicks will get more attention than us guys. Well, that's why I said it's like the men, like the guys on the computer, act more like chicks than the actual chicks. Like, I mean, like think about this. You do a video where you say you don't want to talk to chicks anymore because you get the same result over and over. Now, you would think women would be on that video saying, "Hey, we're not all the same. This is screwed up." Instead, the people getting outraged are other men who presumably would, this would not impact whatsoever. If anything, would make it easier for them to get someone because that's less competition for them. But like, I would have never thought that the people who would be attacking my physical appearance or analyzing or that would be other men, because I didn't think men would do that to another man. And I've actually gone on Instagram a couple of times and seen some broads that I either went to school with or know in some capacity. And I go in the comment section and it's like, oh, you're so hot, you're so beautiful, you're so, and then I click on the profile and it's another woman. Well, look, Brandon, I'm not saying I'm not interested in that type of person, but my preference specifically is something that was not like what she was, I guess, what's the way of putting it? How do I explain this? As a man, because of how difficult it is to just get a damn date, you're expected to accept whatever woman comes your way. Uh, and even if you don't find those traits she had necessarily unappealing or like, oh, it's such this big turnoff, it still isn't what you want. I mean, look at these romance groups they created. Most guys on the internet are weird. And hell, Brandon, if I wasn't interested, I wouldn't have accepted the date. And then, she started doing the cartwheels. First, it's, oh, meet my parents. Then it's, oh, I want to get to know you first. Then it's, I thought I was interested, but I just got really confused. What do you have against tomboys? There's like people don't even halfway listen. It's like they have one ear. I can just imagine they have like one ear cut off and the other one is there. Like they hear like a part of it. I don't know what Seth is saying WTF to. That's what I said when I saw Craig's come. I was like, I just literally sat here and said I was willing to go on a date with this person in spite of them having uh tomboy characteristics, whatever you want to call it. So clearly I don't have a problem with them. It's just not my preference. It's all a matter of first come, first serve. Like when you get shafted for so long, it does heighten the chance that you'll just take anything. Nothing, just that some dudes shame other men for not acting a certain way. Oh, you know that's another thing they do, James. They never put at. So I don't like they'll write stuff to each other and they're like, oh, what are you talking about? They're like, oh, I'm talking to this person. Well, just say it. What do I have against them? You aren't going to buy from GameStop. A game store other than GameStop gets outraged by your choice instead. Remember what I said that saying that you don't want to talk to chicks anymore and then having like a bunch of men get angry and write all kind of nasty stuff about you is like if you said you don't want to eat at McDonald's anymore and then you start getting death threats from Burger King. You better eat that Big Mac. The seventh installment of the series. Yeah, we'll do a reboot very soon. Yeah, no one has a problem with them. I was just saying that I thought about how insane it was that you as a man are expected to accept chicks for who they are, even if they have stuff physically or the way they act that you don't find appealing. But then you're told to transform and change and all this other stuff just again for the chance of getting with someone. I was pointing out that what do you call it, contrast or that complete opposite of the other situation. I said people don't listen. No, yesterday's discussion with my friend was very me and him just get along and have a lot of like he's a good person to kind of like bounce ideas off of. And he actually I guess inspired me to think of doing this video called "When Do Women Grow Up?" And it's basically um how do I put this? Yeah, for some reason women attract talented men but are nothing to look at in their own right. Craig, me and my friend used to do this thing. We go on Facebook, and there's like so many different times we saw a woman who was overweight with a guy that was skinny. Like, and I kept on saying, if I was as large as she was, every time I did a damn stream, you need to go to the gym, you need to go to the gym, you need to go to the gym, you need to go. That would be spammed in my chat all day long. No, we had a whole collection of pictures of just all these different people where that was the case. And the only reason I don't make a video like that is because I have a rule about not posting photos of people and talking about the way they look because I don't like that when it's done to me. For real, we know it is. No, let me explain the concept of the video. So a lot of people um who try to like get you to hold out hope bet they have 20 guys to, of course. I mean, James, let's not forget the infamous Reddit situation where all the woman posts is her phone number, her age, and what state she's in. No picture. And she has not one, not five, not 10, not 20, not 30, not 40, not but over 50 men trying to talk to her just from a phone number, an age, and what state she's in. That blew my mind. Men are expected to self-improve, but women are expected to land whales and dude, I seriously would have these chicks play. You remember the Into the Spider-Verse movie, how they made Doc Ock a woman? I would expect some of these chicks to play like a female version of Blob in the next movie. Oh my god. The way some of them look. Seriously, me and him still laugh at this picture of this from this woman's wedding 3 or 4 years ago, where she's like, I don't even want to make a guess. I'd say the smallest she could be is like 240 pounds, and even that's pushing it. But she's with this man who's like really skinny, and me and him would just sit there gawking at this picture, just again thinking about how for chicks there really is no bottom of the barrel. Hell, remember the Susan Smith case where that woman murdered both of her children, and then guards in prison were banging her. They were still attracted to her. That's the most insane thing. If they just see they are female in their age. Never mind their profile picture. They get a plethora of guys flocking to that one chick. Absolutely crazy. Well, I told you there's another channel on this website where it's a woman that does like a breathy voice that I guess men find attractive, and she has thousands and thousands of. And it's like, again, I understand people think some woman is hot, so they all subscribe to her and swarm around her, but it's just a voice, and all it is a person doing a little stupid breathy like, oh my god, like as long as it's abroad, people just, no matter what it does, man. A few months back, I basically got catfished by a woman. Her pictures had to be at least 2 years old. Yet somehow she found a way to make me seem like I was a jerk for being angry. Women are nuts. There was someone that actually did that on Twitter a few days ago. I don't want to go too much into it because then it'll like tip off who it was. It's not a famous person, but just the way their message was worded, you can, if you like typed it, then you'll be able to figure out the whole ASMR thing is the whole as huh is a fetish for some guys.
What?
I don't know what asthma is.
ASMR?
Yeah. Don't even get me start. Well, again, Twitch is one thing because at least the broad is on the camera, but it was literally just it's a woman that you can't even see that they're attracted to. I'm just imagining, like he said, the land well, right? I'm just imagining this like gigantic mammoth of a like she looked what well, we already brought up Blob from X-Men, but she actually like is that shape and she just talks like this, and all these people are like, oh my god, I love her voice. Just can't get that image out of my mind that that's what she looks like. And it's sad too because a lot of those chicks that do the voices act like online hide their faces. All right, well, I didn't know, James. So I guess the old passage is true that you learn something new every day. Anyways, for the women, when do women grow up video, it was going to talk about how you can like find parallels between the way that chicks acted when I was in like middle school and high school, and then you can compare the way that, because a lot of people do make the mistake of thinking every broad I speak to is the exact same age as me. That's why with the triple L thing, I've mentioned that broad is over 30 and is like so insane that she will literally say, I want to talk to someone and then stand and then just like whatever. I already explained why she's stupid, but uh, a lot of the ones that are pushing 30 act like little kids. Like I just had a woman who's in her 20s not even a month ago be such a wimp and a coward that she had to get her mother to answer the phone when I called her. Imagine being attracted to a voice. Meanwhile, it's probably some 45-year-old truck driver named Ralph. Yeah, people have voice changers. Yes, age doesn't really matter much, unfortunately. Dude, if it ever came out that I last year or just at any point as an adult started speaking to some broad on the computer and then she called me after I blocked her number and I had to get my mother or my dad or my brother to answer the phone, I would be the laughing stock of this whole website. They would say weak, coward. They still act very immature and don't grow up or reform their ways like many like to preach. Dude, here's a good parallel for just an example. So I've mentioned this broad that lived in this other state that I offered to move in with to help her pay her rent because she was complaining that she couldn't pay her rent or save money or whatever. And she said no, and like how stupid she was because of like some of the other stuff she said. But uh, when in the video I did on her, I showed where she sent me some crazy message cursing me out. and then she admitted that this message only was written by one of her friends that's like 17 or 18 after she was talking about me to this person. And I was like, oh my God. Because the first chick I ever approached not only said no, which is one thing, but then went around and told her friends and then tried to like make fun of me for daring to like this person. So you see how even though one was 13, and then because that was when I was in seventh grade, and then you had another one who is double the age of that person in their 30s, early 30s. You see how they still act the same. It's still that core concept of you have to run to these other people to make this like this thing that's really between you and this other person into an issue that you and your friends can laugh and deride this person over. Cohabitation is not the way. I'm absolutely terrified of allowing a woman live in my home. The laws on it, well, hey, we can all agree to disagree. I don't tell people what to do with chicks. People shouldn't tell me what to do. That's the thing I find so ironic, that like this whole like romance issue is so one-sided. It's men upset with me for a decision I made that has nothing to do with them, that doesn't stop them from talking to chicks. That's why it's always ironic. Like, you're telling people. Like, I'm not telling them anything. They're trying to come over here and harass me into supporting their lifestyle. Like, get out of here. Yeah, what is he talking about? No, that broad that said you're too good for me and was like asking me all those personal questions, and then was like, "Oh, I have thought about this over the last 2 days, and I don't think this will work, even though I have no reason to believe that because we've never gone a single damn date. Goodbye forever." That broad was pushing 25 when that happened. Like they just it doesn't matter how old they are, they still do the same stuff. Do people want to believe anything? Oh yeah, they mature. They start acting so much more like civilized people that actually say what they mean and do what they say. I think that would be an interesting video just to like contrast different experiences with chicks from when I was in school with chicks that are like much older that still do the same stupid stuff. Because I'm telling you, I've never tried to involve anyone else in like my dealings with some broad. I've never gone to my friend and go, hey, can you call this broad? Can you send her a message? Never happened. It's always exclusive me speaking to it, because again, the other people should not be a factor in it. But they always drag somebody else in it. That's their modus operandi. I believe you did a video touching on this topic before when you mentioned about how chicks wouldn't change like in like 40 years, something along those lines. I could be wrong, right? But that was over the fact that people like to say things will change just in general because time passes. But just like the thing of, oh, here's one who did the same thing as a teenager that one as a grown woman did. I don't think I've done that before. I don't know what's wrong with Tony. I don't get him at all. Imagine typing 5 paragraphs about how someone lacks introspection and they're rinse and repeat and they're a cat drawing the yarn, and then you keep watching them over a month after writing that stuff. What's there not to get? Well, I don't know anyone that just comes on stream going LOL, because we don't know what you're laughing about. You're taking a critique of yourself too seriously. I mean, if I took it too seriously, you would have been banned. I was like, okay, he wrote some stupid stuff. Bye. How seriously is it supposed to be taken? An enigma. This guy last month wrote 5 paragraphs talking trash about me, and
Really?
he still keeps coming back.
Oh, did he?
He just
Wow.
showed up again.
Really?
It's like the 3rd or 4th stream I've seen him on since then.
Really?
Then that's all good. I'll be up for hearing your views about this topic. Yeah, that's like the third. There's now we have like a trilogy of unreleased romance video. LOL, I guess. We all know the best jokes are the one only you're laughing about. Those are the most classic bouts of comedy. I bet he's gonna dedicate a segment of on me in his stream. A segment to me in his stream. Well, hell, if you write back to them, they don't even address what you say. Tina proved that. Well, the title is supposed to be indicative whenever I have my brother on the stream. So it's an artifact title. Probably trying to make the stream all about him. They always do that. And then when you get rid of somebody, they say, you're censoring this person. Like, I just let him speak for 2 hours. That's censorship. They like a lot of people are like have really warped, twisted views about just like freedom of speech. I mean, you're supposed to like imagine yourself doing a stream, and I come on there and I say, you suck. And then the chat's like, well, what the hell are you doing here if you don't like this person? And then I keep saying stuff about you. And the chat naturally is going to keep addressing this person who's like doesn't like you but is here anyway. And then you're inevitably going to get sick of them talking about this person and get rid of them, as to not continue to make the stream about them. I'm so censored on this website where if I get blocked by one person, I can still talk on literally millions of other channels. Oh, hey, Banana. I hope you don't get into a second altercation with our resident giggler. Like, who does that? Who comes on stream? LOL. You know what that reminds me of? There's another stream I did where there was a guy that he ended up getting yanked because he was like he wrote some weird stuff about like the way I looked or whatever, but the first thing he said was LOL, and it was like really weird because all I was doing was just talking. So that's the first sign. That's their little like deficiency signal. I being censored after I insulted a person I do not like. Dude, I still can't get over the guy who compared me to a dictator just because somebody got blocked after insulting me over and over again for like 40 minutes. Like, really? I'm gonna just sit here and just get insulted forever? Like the whole time I'm streaming? Because I told you they don't do this stuff on videos anymore. They don't really write comments being nasty on those because nobody looks in the comment section. They try to come to a stream and mess it up and be gross. He gets rid of people with dissenting opinions, even though his own mod was disagreeing with him on getting with the paid chick to get dates and all kind of other sexual things from. But yeah, he definitely gets rid of anyone with a dissenting opinion. Maybe you'll come on somebody's stream and start telling them that they're a piece of trash. You can just stop doing that. I've been listening to your issues, and I think you should just find a way to say, oh, here we go with that. I'll get right on it. That should increase your chances of finding love. Dude, if you said of finding a date, I would be like, okay, whatever. What is finding love? You must be new here. Dude, it's like he went to the gym for 2 months and now this woman has not only agreed to go on a date with him, but she is in love with him as well. I told you, they really believe in that magic broad. Like, it can't just be this person self improves, whatever that means. Uh, and then someone agrees to go on a date, and then that'll be it. No, we have to. We're going to take it a step further. This person will fall in love and want to marry you, and just get out of here with that. Hey, the juice is not worth the squeeze. Because you sure as hell aren't going to see anybody tell a broad to self improve for me to like her. It would never happen. I think it's a word that people throw around too much. I wouldn't say it's overrated. Like, I think it exists, but it's not something. Uh, I mean, just like in an era where there are more divorces than ever before, and what was it like? This is the smallest number of children born in the last 30 years. It's a lot harder to actually find someone that likes you for who you are. And if they like you for who you are, why the hell would you have to self-improve and become somebody else to get them to like you? Like, isn't that an oxymoron? Like, oh yeah, this person likes you for who you are. That's why you have to go to the gym every day and become a millionaire and become famous. It is common fact that women are attracted to athletic and physically dominant men. So I'm supposed to join the NFL to get a day? If you look at most of the guys you see with great relationships, what the hell are you talking about? There are a whole bunch of athletes that get divorced, get their money taken by broads. I wouldn't say that yet. He's just writing some stuff I don't understand. Dude, so many celebrities have especially a lot of the athletes have some of the worst relationships I've ever seen. That's the biggest lie ever told on this website. If you become athletic and physically dominant, you will find a great relationship. Nine out of 10 times, that man became a better version of him. Whether you're an athlete or coach or couch potato, you are always subjected to relationships falling apart. Yeah, famous people get divorced all the time. Look at Kim Kardashian. She married a guy that was a baseball player and divorced him in less than a year? And now she's divorcing Kanye, one of the most famous musicians of the current era. After, what was that, 6, 7 years of being married, 3 kids? Physically dominant men have the best relationship, yeah. Well, that's why I understand. It's like they actually think if you achieve these other things, it makes getting with the broad suddenly. I guess someone who's more famous would have a higher. Let me read this. She married at least 2 times. Let me go see. I think there was a guy before, whatever that baseball player's name was. No, I haven't been keeping up with the Kardashians. Trying to reference her show. 3 marriages. I forgot about Damon. Damn. That was a long time. I was a little kid when she divorced him. That was 2004. I was in kindergarten. Or no, first grade rather. Excuse me. Money, power, status. Those should be your main goals in life. Okay, but why the hell do you need to get those things just to go on a date? Especially if you actually end up becoming a couple, the broad is susceptible to take your money. What main goals does the woman have? Spreading her legs? I guess Ray is saying being athletic increases your chances. I agree, but with nothing is promised. That's my point. Man, this unsolicited advice. They need to just get all these guys together and have them write a book, and it will be called "The Book You Didn't Want, but That We Believe You Need." And like their way of promoting it is they'll just take it and just shove it towards people. What the hell? Wait, what the he was? Has this guy read? Yeah, dude. Banana. That's the elephant in the room. That like the people talking about success you've never heard of. You're like, who is that? Only Buchanan I heard of before Ray was James Buchanan, the 15th United States president, one of the worst presidents ever. Always at the bottom of the polls. Remember, that's the dirty little secret that no one who preaches this stuff ever has any proof that they themselves have done it. Women have their own money, so why should they care? Besides, when it's time to settle down. I saw your video about working out for a long time and still not having success with women. Oh, that video's comment section was terrible. Like I like the video, I give it probably a 10 out of 10, but that comment section was insane. Nothing is absolute, but it definitely increases your chances when you self-improve. But you know what? I'll just listen to your side of the story for more perspective. I don't believe someone wanting to become a quote unquote better version of themselves should be tied to getting a date. I just don't think these chicks are worth the effort. And when I was addressing Tony about a month ago, I gave examples. If I wanted to get with an Olympic gymnast and I didn't exercise, people say you should exercise. I can understand where they were coming from because that's someone who is accomplished in that respective field. But to become famous so that a woman no one's ever heard of will go on a date with you, I think is absurd. That's why I said there's rules and things you have to do as a man and none for chicks. They're all just perfect. Yeah, but by how much exactly? Remember, this is for getting a date, not to have them as your girlfriend or wife. No, you'll find love. Listen to what he said. If you self-improve, you'll find love. Hey, how's that one Rihanna song go? We found love in a hopeless place. Brandon, women seeking long-term relationships are looking for men with resources. Well, how the hell do these bastards know what I own? Do they do my taxes? Think about this. You go up to a woman on the internet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she might maybe see a picture of you if you send her one or if you speak to her. But how would she know how much money you have from talking to you? Exactly. There's no way for her to know.
Yeah.
Women seeking long-term relationships are looking for men with resources. It's always been that way. It's tradition. The man provides and the woman maintains the family gender roles. They're not maintaining anything. So to get a woman to like you, you have to maintain the gender roles of having to pay for all of her crap. And again, we're not even talking about a family. We're just talking about going on a date. So I said it's like I get told I complicate stuff, but this is like we're not anywhere near anything about settling down or any of that. It's just a date. To get a date, you have to become the better version of you. You listen to guys on here; they're trying to have a real life version of Superior Spider-Man. Let me see what Brandon wrote. But today's modern women is not traditional, so why should I be traditional? There needs to be a gender renaissance. Like I said, the guys act like chicks. I mean, it's men writing paragraphs about my love life, not broads. There are no gender roles. Not anymore. What is this caveman logic? Man hunt, women make babies. No, I agree, banana. I don't know what this is. I'm just sitting there just observing it. And it's all the Twilight Zone just coming back, rearing its ugly head. It just shows up. Imagine going to the gym for months. Like just imagine this going to the gym for months. Let's say you get a six pack, and then you ask a woman out on a date and she says no. Aren't you going to be even more pissed off? Because remember, we talked about this before. If you do the stuff, because he didn't even say what he means by self improvement, but if you do the stuff these guys say you're supposed to do, they're not going to then say there's something wrong with the chicks for not accepting or liking back this man who has improved for their sake. They're still going to blame you. They're going to say, well, you probably approached in a weird way. You probably didn't do this because can't criticize the chicks for anything ever. What do you guys think is the way to solve the gender norms of today? How do we change the dynamic? Well, for one thing, stop having 30 guys talk to one broad. Confident. Oh my. I know I did not just read what I thought I read. I swear to you, it's like these people are drones. Remember Star Wars Episode 2 with the clone troopers?
Mm-hmm.
You remember it was the second one of these we did. There was a guy on there who was like talking about exercise equipment. And remember I got rid of him?
Yeah.
He said, well, in his sentence, confidence is key. And now this one is saying the same thing.
Really?
They're clones of each other. You are so unconfident person that approached 90 chicks. No, you know what? It's a real life clone saga. It's the clone saga. It's Clone Wars, clone conspiracy. They all say the same stupid stuff. Two things. Either don't play the game or go for a chick that shows you that she's worth investing in. I hope that was a joke. I really hope. I hope that was some kind of like failed gag. Because that if that was real, what does Wonder Woman say? Hera, help me. That was insane. Like verbatim, it was typed the same way, the lowercase. Sorry, but I'm just not going to get in a relationship just for someone, just so someone can leech off of my resources. Dude, what does the woman offer ever? Like no one can ever explain what about them is so rewarding as to undertake all of these excessive side quests. Dude, they make getting a date into an RPG. Dude, 300 push-ups every day. Oh, no, it's 500, excuse me. Run a mile and a half every week. Twice a week, rather. But we're not even talking about marriages. It's just a stupid date. Do people not know what that means anymore? Do they really think you go on a date with the woman and then, like, what, she proposes to you? Like, the first step of getting a girlfriend, of getting a wife, whatever, and they've turned it into this stretched out gang rape process for no reason. Imagine becoming famous just to like imagine if I actually tried to get 1 million subscribers, like start putting billboards up in the real world just to get a date. Every video has to have 1 million views. Dating equals long time relationships, apparently. Yeah. Man, what is wrong with people? Let me turn the brightness up on. Oh, it's already up. You guys really kill me with this stuff. Remember, the prologue requires a prologue. You can't get a date until you do all these ridiculous steps for the chance of getting one. And then after you do those ridiculous steps, you still don't get one. Like I told you, those broads will actively sit there and do the I want to be friends first thing. And then while you're doing that and talking to her over and over and over again, she's dating somebody else. Because again, you're just this puppet on a string. Long-term relationships are the end goal. You aren't just dating just for a good time, I'm assuming. Okay, but how do we know the woman is complacent with the end goal? Like, I could have the end goal, which I originally had, of getting married and having kids. But if I have chicks who are saying, and one of them actually did, and you might remember this, Megumi, I'd rather get shot in the face than give birth, then my end goal is screwed. I told you I've never seen a single one of these guys ever prove they're with somebody. It never happens. That guy that was talking about, I lift weights. I was like, do a video. I want to see it. And the woman that has supposedly come from all this weightlifting. Video still hasn't appeared. Dude, that video is going to end up like Tim Burton's Batman 3. We're sitting there like, oh, I wonder what happened with it. That video is going to end up like the MCU Hulk 2. Just never made, never comes out. Development hell forever. That video is going to end up like Fantastic Four 3. Oh my God. Dating is best when I don't think expectations are ridiculously high. Well, I don't think I have high expectations. I mean, if 90 chicks appeal to me enough to want to go on a date with them, I don't see where that's some hard exclusive group to get involved with. I just don't believe it. That's why I said the chicks don't know what they want, because these aren't, random broads you go up to at a mall and then they say no. These are chicks that'll sit there and talk to you for weeks and months, telling you how important you are to them, and then after you ask on a date, oh, I can't do this. I just want to be friends. And you get the same result from a woman you approach and from one that asks you on a date. We know that for a fact now, after what we saw a few weeks ago. But like you said, you have to jump through all these hoops just to sip a latte in a coffee shop. Attention is sex. See, okay, well, it's attractive to, well, it's not attractive to me. It's annoying. Like when I did the video, why do women with boyfriends like talking to me? I don't know if you could notice this from the screenshots, but the one that mentioned having a boyfriend, one of them mentioned it, and I literally stopped speaking to her the day after that. Like I didn't even care. I was like, whatever. That's when I sent that email to. I was like, you treat somebody that you claim to be a friend like this? Really? Oh, let me ask Megumi about this Dragon Ball thing, because I want to make sure that we get the people who actually will watch this to see it. So in the past, and it hasn't been discussed that often, I've talked about wanting to do a some kind of like animated thing with Dragon Ball, like not just one of the videos you just analyze the stuff. And I've got like an idea of what I want to. I want it to take place between the year after the Frieza saga and before the Cell saga starts. So before King Cold and Mecha Frieza show up, that year that's between the two of those events happening. And it would be about Gohan, Piccolo, and Krillin. I'm just trying to figure out if people like Envoy will watch this, or if he'll go back to stealing women's pictures and writing nasty comments. Trying to get his picture in the Guinness Book of World Records for internet terrorism. It's always that one person every stream. I'm telling you, I just know that for a fact I would never see these efforts being taken to appeal to me. Seriously, I could own every coin that's ever been in existence, and you would never see somebody say, "You want to go on a date with the great Justin, the amazing man that he is? Hit the gym." It would never happen. You would never see a day where I go on my phone or on some social media website and I have 50 DMs from women saying, "Hey, how you doing? What's up?" Just out of nowhere. Never would happen. But again, random chicks nobody ever heard of have that more often than not don't own anything themselves. You got to do all this stuff to never exercise themselves. You got all this stuff. Well, Megumi, if I make this, will you watch it? Because I don't want this to be like some because this is going to take more effort than anything else I've done with that series. So I'm wondering if you'll actually check it out. Why don't you train like Piccolo? Oh, I'm so flattered. Every female is a movie star. Dude, like this broad I spoke to 3 years ago, she has Cash App. Like, and I swear to you, when she was on YouTube, she made like 5 videos and then disappeared. Had maybe 100 subs, got a couple of views on her videos, but quit on that because it takes a certain amount of dedication. I know I'll never get credit for that, but that's what it is. Uh, and now just post stupid pictures of herself doing this and that and this, and has people like is trying to get people to donate as if that requires some effort. Look, when chicks make content on this website that requires editing, I can respect and understand people wanting to support that, or just like something that requires some knowledge. Hell, even with a lot of those hair tutorials, they're actually showing that they remember how to do this stuff. But it's just somebody taking stupid pictures of herself. Hit up my Cash App. Give me some coins. It's like, what? I'm glad I didn't go to that bimbo state talking about come over here with $500. Yeah, I'm not going to that filth to come see somebody who's going to tell me that she just wants to be friends after I come over there. Yeah, I'm good. You can't even get this broad to a phone call, but once you come to her state, she's gonna fall in love with you. I believe that. Most gym cost money to get into, and not everyone can afford a gym membership. So this hit the gym logic just doesn't hold any realism. Well, again, they don't care because everything you do has to be tailored around the broad. So like when I had a guy who said go to the gym every day. If you're a student or you have a job, that's impossible. It should be unless you like I don't know are in there every moment that you're not sleeping or at your job. It's like they really don't care. Everything you do is just tied to abroad. And I find that really insane. And like I said, if people said this stuff about chicks, they'd be called sexist. Well, look for this show, I'll do a pilot episode, and then depending on how many views it gets, um, I'll continue it. If it only gets like 20, 30, 40 views, it's like, oh, to hell with it. Uh, but it's not going to be like super. Like it's going to be, even though the main three are going to be Gohan, Piccolo, and Krillin, you're still going to have stuff with Yamcha and Tien and all the other pre-existing people. Because that's the problem I have with that show. It keeps introducing more and more characters. Doesn't do anything with them. Women think everything that they do requires money. What they say doesn't hold any scrutiny. Oh, you know what? Speaking of stuff that doesn't hold up under scrutiny, so I really want you to think about this because this goes back to like stuff that people say on here. I was talking about a guy whose animal died and how even though I don't like him in the slightest as a commentator, I still wouldn't say anything bad about his animal dying because I just it's not a level I like to sink to. Um, but I kind of wanted to discuss this. So the stereotypical image of a person who is smart is someone that reads, right? Someone that what's the way of saying it? I'm talking about someone that actually will just sit there and read out stuff and reads books, and that's like the stereotypical image of what is considered a smart person, nerd, with geek, whatever. So there's this group of movie critics that guy is a part of, um, and both him and his friend have admitted they don't like reading comics, which is you can recall, it's pictures with text put on top of them. And you might say, well, this is just a person's personal taste, right? But my thing is, most critics don't present themselves, at least the ones that are on, like YouTube, for example, as being these people who have these factual, objective opinions. And I guess what I'm trying to lead you to understand is, doesn't it seem kind of backwards to have someone who wants you to believe they're like this very smart person when it comes to what good storytelling is, but they can't even read a comic book, let alone an actual book? Do you get where that makes sense? Where if the person is telling you that the only thing that matters about a film or a TV show is its script, uh, then it makes them look even weirder for like not just preferring to read books over watching or seeing something. Basically, if you're so smart, why can't you read but reading a comic is something that's too much for you. How are we supposed to take you seriously as this intellectual on good? Because there are a whole bunch of good books. It's a female on YouTube that charges $20 to react to videos that you watch on YouTube for free. Yeah, that's insane as well. The way I see it, if you're going to persist in the idea that I need to hit the gym, you better be paying for it or revealing yourself as a personal trainer. Well, like I said, none of these guys ever show proof that they go to the gym or that they're with a broad or that it's always some figure hidden behind a picture that doesn't show who they are, that is talking trash about the way other people look. And like I said, if I came on here and I said, look at how handsome I would understand people attacking me over my physical appearance. But if all I'm doing is critiquing people for the content of their character and not their appearance, I find it irrelevant, because largely appearance is irrelevant to the points I make. Which that's the big like elephant in the room. They'll sit here and write whole sentences about how somebody looks, but not what they're actually saying. I'm telling you, I don't do this to other people. Oh, she disliked that picture.
Who?
Hold on a second. Because I don't have money to just throw around when I have bills to pay. Well, like I said, Banana, they don't care. Again, I'm not a douchebag. I don't come on here and say, if you want a woman to like you, you're going to have to spend money on weightlifting equipment. And like, I'm not trying to turn people into tryouts for the flunkies for the WWE. I'm surprised they don't tell me to take steroids the way they act. Oh, I thought you were responding to what I was saying. Gumi says, beats me, that's stupid. Are you referring to the guy that is supposed to be this big, huge expert on what a good story is, but then he can't even read a comic book, let alone a regular book? Like, really think about it. If all that's good about a story is its writing in a visual medium, right, like a movie or a TV show, then why don't they just review books? You don't get where that's like it doesn't add up. Like, if this person is so invested in writing, because you have film critics like Roger Ebert before he died, who actually like will sit there and go, this movie's got great music, solid acting from the cast, blah 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 blah, right? And they'll actually sit there and talk about, if there's an aspect they don't think is good, they'll still say, hey, these other things were good. With them, they act like in his video, he said, I'm only looking at this movie from a writing perspective. It's like, but the movie is more than just its writing. There's acting involved. There's a musical score. There's cinematography. You know, it's like hell. Same thing with comics. Like they're more than just the writing. All the different art that people have in there. Some art is considered very beautiful. Some is considered out of place. You know, I just don't understand that. Like, oh, I'm such a great expert on what good storytelling is, but oh, I have to read a comic. Whatever. I just don't understand people. They do things that really confuse me. Because even like, for example, when I was a kid, I didn't like the medium of books. But if it was about something I liked, I would read it. For example, what's good? There was a Transformers book that came out when I was a kid. That was like setting up one of the shows that came out. I think it was Prime, and I read it. There was a story that was posted online. Read it because it was about something I liked. I have no problem crossing over to other mediums if it's about something I find interesting. How do you feel about dating coaches that hire females to prove the methods work? Well, I don't. I already gave my opinion on them in general. I think it's just a bunch of BS. But whatever. People will listen to them all day long if they want. Megumi, imagine if somebody wrote a book about what's a good example? Your mother, for example, and it's got all the different information, her early life, where she went to school, classmates were counting. You tell me you wouldn't read that? And look, even if someone says they're not a fan of books, like most people will not get online and actively admit a distaste for comics. I know a lot of people will say they just can't afford it because a lot of these books are like $3.99, $2.99, and then if you want to read multiple books, that's like $20 a month you're shelling out. It's not the cheapest thing to follow, even if they're all online for free. If people want to do it legally, or I guess, I mean, hell, that's actually another like technicality thing I have where um, because Marvel and DC do like a very awful job of making their stuff readily available, unless you go on like a website or pay them. I feel even less bad about reading a lot of this stuff for free because it's literally impossible to read those stories unless you buy the actual issue from 20, 30 years ago. Hiring females to prove methods work in the first place make it seem fraudulent. Yeah, I don't understand. It's weird. Yeah, I remember reading the Transformers novelization for the first movie just because I liked the film. I wanted to, But you get my point that like they come on here and I always try to say like this is my opinion. I think this would have been better. Da, 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 da. And they come on here and they're like, I believe this is objectively not good, and I think that this is provably bad. Like, but you're trying to present yourself as this writing expert who only cares about writing. It's so you're not like a movie critic. You're just the person who only cares about good storytelling, but you can't even read a book with pictures. The self-improvement industry is really toxic and problematic. I just think they're putting you in a situation you can't win because no matter how much improving you do, people will still crap all over you. Just like I could say I've improved as an artist. I think my art from now is better than it was 5 years ago. But that's not done for the purpose of getting with the broads because I like to draw. And you still wouldn't see any of them say, "Oh man, look at that man's great art. Look at how much he's improved." Women are getting with him. That's insane. They'll do the same. Like I guarantee you, if I went and did that gym stuff, it'll be the same thing. You may have a 6 or 8 pack, but you're ugly. They'll write the same nasty stuff. And the whole objectively bad thing is weird. You can only kind of say that if you look at the numbers of the comic book series to see if they sell well or not. Well, I mean, but sales still are not an indicator of the quality of something's writing because if that were true, Captain Marvel would be one of the greatest movies ever made. And and I don't see anyone actually saying it. Even people that liked it were like, no. Um, but even like with the objectively bad things, like that's them they're trying to turn their opinion into fact. Because it's one thing to say, I think this is not good, I don't like this, I don't think this is decent, but to tell someone, oh no, this is objectively bad. Bad is an opinion, you know? Bad and good are opinions. So to say one is objectively this opinion, it doesn't, it's like even more contradictions. No, movie critics on here, especially when they make those like bloated videos, are the worst. An opinion can't be objective, so that's an oxymoron, yeah. Banana Merchant's comments are objectively bad, but if you like them, you can. It's like, well, hell, I'm saying that you like comments that I believe are factually bad. Again, it doesn't hold up to scrutiny. Yeah, they don't. People just get on here and they say all kinds of stuff and they think they're so smart. Look at me. I made an hour plus video trashing a movie that people liked. I'm so accomplished. I just don't like controversy, and like they're just like in these videos, like you've probably already hit the dislike. I was like, why would you even say that? Because like that's you assuming bad faith on people who disagree with you. If I make a video called Vegeta is frustrating in Super because there's a lot of stuff they could have done with him they didn't do, and like they think if they just give him fights and have him on the screen all the time, that's like serviceable. I would, I guess, expect maybe someone to downvote it, but I expect when the video plays for you to at least hear what I have to say. Like that's assuming bad faith of your own. Like that's already showing your antagonism. Again, there's just certain ways to do stuff that's why I said they're all like contrarian. They just come on here and trash everything, and they look even more psychotic every time they do it because they're saying this stuff isn't good, but they just keep watching. People act like they're so brave for giving their dumb opinions no one asked for. Imagine, dude, the way they act, they're insane enough to like, let's say I think love isn't real, as far as most people won't experience it. Like that's my opinion. Imagine me going to a wedding. I'm glad you guys are enjoying the ceremony, but I hope you know that this man is probably not going to end up with this woman for more than a couple of years before she takes it for all. It's like, why are you saying this? Why are you here? Why do we need to know your opinion? Get lost. And then people were spamming his video around every time. So see, this is why I said they're douchebags, because they try to frame it as people are attacking me because I have this opinion. It's like, no, your video is now being spread by your like sycophants anytime somebody says they like a movie that they don't like. It's easier to dislike and be antagonistic rather than have a healthy discourse. That's just the internet and the dumb logic. Now, he got famous off of that video. Or he thinks he did anyway. I think he didn't even get 100,000 views and he acts like he's some celebrity. And it's not hard to make a video like that. All they do is play the movie from the start and then start their little nitpick series. Like, guys, listen, I don't even what's the way of saying it? As much as I might disagree with someone like Chris Stuckman, I have no problem saying his name because we don't even talk about the same stuff, so it's not competition or anything. But as much as I might disagree with someone like that, at least when they do a review, because they're talking about things they like, things they didn't like, and the review is not over an hour long for something that's 2 hours, I can actually believe, yeah, this person just sat down, recorded a review after watching the movie, and just this is what they thought. Not, oh, let me start this from beginning, and every time somebody opens their mouth or does something, why did this person do this? Why did this person do that? I swear to you, even stuff I don't like, I don't just sit there. Because they make everything look bad doing that. Nah, those reviews are terrible. And I told you, if they're not doing a review like that where it's over an hour plus talking about a movie and nitpicking it to death. They're making hours long streams. That person must be a better director than yeah, they all think they're these brilliant people. Just I'm so sick of them. But like I said, the those two in particular I was laughing at because it's like you guys are saying you don't like reading comics or that they're like not good or whatever. It's like, but then you want us to take you seriously when you review films. Like you can't even read a book with pictures, but you're supposed to be like I don't know any reputable critic who's again whose singular focus is on something's writing that doesn't read books. Like that just seems to me like an oxymoron. I'm such an aficionado on good storytelling that I can't read a book with pictures or I bleed. No, these people are insane. And like I said, if I like something, I'll read any of it. Like I like it's a good series. Superman, so I was reading some action comics. Really doesn't make sense, almost like a joke, a parody. And no one ever presents that question to them. Like they never challenge them on the fact that we have them recorded or like tweeting that they don't like to read comics, but then we're supposed to take them seriously as critics of writing, of the quality of writing. And also another thing is, a lot of people who criticize other people's writing usually make something themselves, uh, and they don't ever make anything other than like stuff trashing other people's work. Like I can look at my show and I can say, "Here's a series I created that I wrote." And I don't think you have to make something necessarily to critique someone else, because most people don't make something. But it's like again, most people don't make videos over an hour long nitpicking them. So it goes both ways, you know. Like most people are gonna sit there and go, "I am judging this from a writing standpoint." Oh, you want me to read a book with pictures? I just think it's hilarious. Yeah, it is a parody. It's like again, it's just an oxymoron. You know, it's a fact that most people don't read, whether that's comics or just regular books. But again, most people are not going to come online and start talking about their objective film analysis and uh, reviewing something from a writing standpoint, which a movie or a show is more than its writing because it's in a visual medium. That's like if I said I'm going to review this video game from the standpoint of its graphics. It's like, but it also has gameplay, voice acting. You know, like you can't. At least when people review the game for its gameplay, that's the main draw. That's supposed to be the main draw. Uh, you know what I'm saying? It's so weird to me. Like, they're strange. It's the era of critiquing things to death while being a spectator and coming off holier than thou. Oh yeah, yeah, but it's like it's terrible, man. They're all trying to get attention off of trash and other people's stuff. I like the more measured approach where the person critiquing said medium understands their own shortcomings. Dude, like, listen, it's one thing. How do I explain this? It's not about them criticizing something. If I make a video about a movie, oh, it is free content for them, Megumi. It's the laziest type of content in the world. Let me take a movie, cut it into pieces, have clips of me talking, and then explain why this is bad, why that's bad. It just go and it never ends. Um, and a lot of people actually think a video is good just because someone edits it. Like, oh, here's a jump cut, here's this, so 10 out of 10 video. But yeah, I lost my train of thought. I was about to say something. I forgot what I was responding to that. Oh, now I remember. It's one thing to criticize something and say I don't think this is good, but like in the guy's video, he says that these problems with this film I've seen go unaddressed, almost like a clever ruse by the director to trick people. And like, you really think you're such an excellent observer of the quality of something's writing as to be the first person or one of the first people watching this film to pose these questions about these various quote unquote flaws that you found. You don't get where that just like shows his overinflated ego that you're the first person to understand all of these issues that were unseen for over 10 years. That's why I'm kind of skeptical about people who critique movies or any other type of. Yeah, I don't trust them anymore because you like, dude, you can find somebody online has a problem with everything. A real film critic never says stuff like objective film analysis because they understand that movies should be indulged on their own individual merits, or that it's an opinion, and just as you can say something is good, I can say something is bad. No, they're a bunch of clowns. That's why I've sworn not to say their name because I'm not trying to help them in their little quest to become famous from trashing stuff that was made by more talented people than them. It's like, damn, if you're such a good writer, go write a book. Oh wait, they can't. They can't read a comic, so sitting down and writing the book would be even more impossible. Yeah, I wish I had one of. I do have some comics. I wish I had one of them in front of me to just use as like a prop. Be like, I don't understand people at all. It's not really the critiquing; it's the attitude that comes behind it. Well, they try to pass their opinions as fact, objectively bad. I think their content's objectively bad because all it is just them sitting on these never-ending streams, watching something in some giant group, and all just like it being a circle jerk. Like, yeah, this was bad. Yeah, this was bad. This was bad. Like, no one disagrees with anybody. They all just. And I'm like, who wants to watch a stream of that where everyone just agrees something is good or bad? Like, what's the point of having a discussion then? Like I said, that stuff works for two people, but when it's four, five, six, like you really want to just watch a stream where everybody just says the same thing for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours? Does that sound exciting to you? I gave up trying to understand people. Most people only care about themselves nowadays. Dude, there's a show this guy, like that guy's part of the group of, said he wasn't going to review. And then he still reviewed it anyway because he has like a bunch of subscribers that will just donate to him because he's doing the stream. So they were saying the only reason he's doing the stream on the show is because it's an easy way for him to, like, he just gets on a mic on Discord and talks to people, and like they all say the same thing so he can get a bunch of donations for just sitting there going, yeah, I don't think this is good because. And it's been going for almost an hour and a half. I'm gonna cut this off because I got things I'm trying to do. I hope you enjoyed the stream, uh, and I do have an interest in doing that Dragon Ball pilot. I'll try to write out the rest of it this week, and then, as to paraphrase Banana, act accordingly after that. So, thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. It's been a pretty ridiculous last couple of weeks, but it is what it is. I already know I live in the Twilight Zone.